We are here for race 4 of the episode, and this is where the biggest new development comes in. The 760 class has had quite a big expansion here as we are at the Tokyo East layout, and the back row here is nothing to report. Futaba's Delta, Rise's Veyron. The front row, well, this is something new. Maki has a Murcielago. I would say I don't know where she got it from, but I think there's a pretty obvious answer to the question, so I'm not even going to I'm not even going to look for the answer because I already know it. Rich parents. That's how she has a Murcielago. But here's where the first thing is interesting. Group 3s. A collection of Group 3 vehicles have been modified to 760 specifications. 28 of them to be exact. We're not even going to be able to see them all in one race. And only 10 of them are in this one. Starting this race off, at least, the brothers Taniguchi of Akira and Hikari will share the second row in classic GT500 machinery. Hikari's kept his GT500 from before. Akira did not. This is a brand new vehicle in this form of the Supra. We have two regular cars, and then we have Samuel Jansen in a Viper Group 3. JJ West returns with his BRZ GT300. Two normal vehicles. Aquila Di Fuoco in a Corvette Group 3. Kogasa Tatera in a Jaguar in her old F-Type Group 3. Stephanie Kaiser appears in a 911 RSR. Kevin Bagstrom in his old Z4. Siegfried Brandt in his basically almost joke car, his underdog status Skyline Super Silhouette. June Summers in her Aston Martin Group 3, and then that's all for this race. Pretty much every Group 3 car has been given an upgraded forced induction system, be it a supercharger or turbocharger. And they're all outputting somewhere in the range of somewhere between 660 and 800 horsepower. The most in the category being Brandt's Super Silhouette with about 785, I believe. And the lowest in the category, also being in the same race, as I believe that is Akira's Supra with 667. Which is low for 640. But they have the aerodynamics going for them. Won't help them much here though, not at Tokyo East, where top speed in a straight line is basically king of the road. As I think we're about to find out on the race start here, as we ride along with Rise Kujikawa for the start of round 4. Over 1,000 horsepower combined with an all-wheel drive system propels the Veyron ahead of most of the field before we're even out of the tunnel. And she'll pick up more places as a bonus as we head towards turn 1. She gets clear of Noir. She's going to grab P2 after just a straightaway. Such is the raw horsepower figure of this Veyron. Maki is the only vehicle that remains ahead at this point, and we're only through 2 corners. And the Veyron is also catching for good measure. The Veyron will probably suffer in the corners compared to the Murcielago. Not to say that the Murcielago is exactly a lightweight vehicle, but it's probably a little lighter than the Bug. It's not making enough of a difference, though, as Rise is right there on Maki's tail. And already looking for a pass for good measure on the outside. That's never likely to work. But it has forced Maki to change her own mind. And once again, she sells Maki a dummy, and Maki falls all the way for it. I thought I taught you better than this, Nishikino. Hook, line, stinker. No damage to her car, but probably some to her pride. Yeah, as I mentioned, the arrow is going to help in the corners, but once we're done taking corners, the Group 3s will fall off hard. Oh, Jesus. Hi, Barbara. Seems like there was a bit of a madness at the hairpin, as we have more than all but 7 cars had to pit there. That is just pathetic. There's that additional braking force the Group 3s have, just catching Noir all the way off guard. It's going to make a very interesting dynamic, as Maki is managing to about stick with the Bayron for now. Clearly pushing the thing through every corner that she can take. The entire top 5 is comprised of road-going cars. And, well, this is about to be expected. This was not likely to be a track that the Group 3s would actually, do much with. The long straightaway is going to make pretty much all of them irrelevant. Brandt and Jansen will be able to about survive, but the likes of Kevin's Z4 are going to suffer on a straightaway. Even Thrasher's F50, which is relatively low in the power department when compared to the other cars in this category, still 2 for 14 as he heads up to the braking zone at 215. There's a pretty good demonstration of it right there. Kevin's gonna hit 192 at the braking point. Barbara's doing 244. So Brandt manages to at least defend one position by out-braking the hell out of Gwozdowski. Actually, see what these two cars do at the end of the straightaway. The two with the holy fucking shit. 180. Well, he was getting ketchup boosted there, basically. 100 or 200 plus for Jansen in the Viper Group 3. That's pitiful compared to what the other cars in this category are normally doing. Yeah, you'll notice this is 7 Group 3s in a row. They're not having fun here. Jansen, Brandt, and Bergstrom are only just about hanging on. And that's about it. They're not moving any positions. They're just not losing any because they're just clear of everybody else because they avoided chaos early on. And in Brandt and Jansen's case, is the only Group 3 with a vaguely competitive power figure and straightaway presence. Maki is still more or less maintaining a respectable distance from Rise. Enters the hairpin really conservatively though, I'm not really sure what was going on there. This Corvette's a weapon in the straight line, by the way. Like, Jesus. 2:35 across the start-finish line. Dude, there's a lane over there. Take that. Maki buzzed the limiter at 2:45 there. There's Barbara embarrassing Kevin Bagstrom. Noir right in tow, also buzzing limiter at 2:44. Bruh. Rise is still kind of managing the race. It's been a stalemate here at the front, basically since the end of lap 1. Suddenly John Garrison, who has managed to finally get around Stillwell, and he's looking for P2 on Maki. I think they're too far away from Rise to offer any resistance to that, especially because she'll get on out of the hairpin and use her all-wheel drive acceleration to blast away. Garrison took the lead into the hairpin. How in the name of God did you make that work? Jeez. So Garrison insults Maki at the braking zone. But that is not close enough, I would say. Rise Fujikawa has been in control of the race this whole time and is rewarded with the checkered flag. John Garrison and Maki Nishikino round out the podium alongside her. Meanwhile, Kevin Bagstrom, who is about to be consumed by, or not, by Mika Harris. It's going to be close at the line, but either way, he will be passed by the Ford GT, but will be the top running Group 3 as we cross the line with a mere 9th place. Barely getting ahead of Samuel Jansen, who had to pit on that one. Courtesy of Barbara, who still managed 6th place, in spite of her braking mishap, probably helped by the fact that, you know, half the rest of the field also had to pit there. Like, seriously, how many cars didn't have damage during this race? I think it's literally just the top 5. So, yeah. Oh, God. Don't know where that yawn came from. So, yeah, 5 of the 20 vehicles competing in this race avoided damage throughout the entirety of the event. It's kind of a pathetic stat, if I must be honest. But Tokyo Expressway just seems to do that. I don't know what it is about this place, but the AI just love to crash into one another when we're here. And hopefully we see a little less of that as we head into Race 5 and a regularly scheduled roulette race. We are green for the roulette race, and as you just saw from the starting grid, there's a pan-out shot there. Group 3s are on the table, and there's a handful of them in the race, as we were on board with Liza Kaiser, who nearly gets clobbered by an out-of-control Herbie. He manages to take avoiding action, and she's already up multiple places off the start. You would think in her old age she wouldn't have the stamina to do a bunch of races in a row, but she's actually got the most attendance in this episode, as I believe she's run 4 of this week's 5 races. Debuting her new Widowmaker in the 640 class race, and then also running the same vehicle in the dirt race, and now she's here. That's only 3 races, but that's not. Yeah. I don't think she was in the 680 race earlier. She was, I didn't notice. Either way, she's been an active participant this week, and this round, the roulette round, is no exception. Now in her 993 rather than her 930. The first of the, we have most of the Group 3s that are here were not at Tokyo. Perhaps they, kind of read the writing on the wall and thought to themselves, well, we're not going to do much at Tokyo East, but we'll probably have better success at Suzuka. And so far, AJ is having better success, leading the way over Eric Wojciechowski and Stephanie Kaiser. Mind you, Stephanie is in a car at 720, and she's kind of keeping up with these two who are technically 760. Why do I say technically? Eric is literally in 760, technically about it. And the Group 3s are no exception. They're part of the category now. There's no two ways about it. AJ is going to have a pronounced advantage through the S's with all of his aero parts. Look a little further back and we see my mom returns in her Audi R8 LMS, trying to use the aero efficiency to sneak on the outside of Nozomi in her Mustang, and does so. Sebastian Orlean does a 650S. Group 3. And I thought there were more than that, but there are actually only 3. Huh. I'm an idiot, I guess. Group 3s are not available to any driver who already had a 760 class vehicle. So, for example, who's somebody in this race that passed? Oh, Amy Shaughnessy cannot elect to get a Group 3 car or use one because she has her GTR in 760 class. Noir can't either. Important cars. I just remember reading a note about this bit here. I guess not. For some reason I was convinced something happened between the Porsche drivers. Must have been just force of habit because of how many times it's happened, but no. A little bit unorthodox, but it was a regular standard fare overtake from Liza Kaiser over Billy. A double overtake on 2 cars multiple categories above in Mom's case, and 1 above in Thrasher's. Eric has seized the lead from AJ Unleaded. Not sure how we did that. Oh. Better straight line speed. How else, Riker? Liza is caught up to me. Bit of a nudge, but didn't damage my car, so I didn't really make a big deal out of it at the time, or, now either. Eric's lead looks bountiful now, but I can assure you, as we go through the S's, AJ is going to make up some time. Oh boy, here comes trouble. Liza's catching up to her daughter. You know, these two have been so hospitable toward each other thus far. Just embarrassment heading into the first Degner. Reminder, Liza's a category above Stephanie. He gives the hazard lights too as she passes, which usually is a sign of you're driving like an idiot, stop doing that. Stephanie didn't do anything wrong, other than get passed by a car that shouldn't be anywhere near her. But apparently Liza woke up on the right side of the bed this morning, so she is very fast. AJ does not have an answer for that F12's top end. The nerve on the 993 driver to take 130R that way. Oh my word. At the moment, on technicality, Stephanie Kaiser is leading the 720 class, even if she's not on the podium and is behind the car in 680. Eric's, you know, obviously leading overall, so no shit, he's leading 760. There are only 4 640 class cars in this race. They are very spread out. I don't know why Fidanzi is back here. This is a 720 class car. Whoa, Porsche moment. Liza manages to keep the car under control and survive, though. Yeah, I'd just like to take a brief moment to point out some of the disparity here. So my mom is in an Audi R8 LMS. That's a Group 3 car. So like every other Group 3 car, it's a 760 class tuned vehicle. Like AJ's. AJ's in second. My mom is in 8th. Do you see the problem there? Same thing with Sebastian Orleans. It's Group 3, so it's in 760 class, just like Eric and AJ. He's in 9th. It's doing even worse than my mom. Now, the primary collective of 680 class cars that aren't a 993 Porsche, which is running 3rd. I don't even know if I can fault them for being back here. They're all on the line, so, or for the most part. Axel Valentine is doing his best to keep the 680 class Supra of Nico behind, and doing well so far since he's ahead of her. Scarborough is running 2nd in class. Francesca Fidanzi is running behind 2 cars in the 640 category, which are 2 categories beneath hers. Kotori is in the middle of nowhere. She's on an island right now. Noir, who I think got damaged on lap 1 by something, is way in the back. She's been unable to recover anything. And the same applies to Colin Morris, who's really on an island. And then we got a battle for the lead between, kind of anyway, between Eric, AJ, and Liza. That's going to come down to the last lap here. As Eric's pace has started to fade, that, or AJ and Liza, are turning up the heat. His straight line speed is going to bail him out for now, but eventually he is going to run out of straightaways. And he'll be in trouble when that happens. Liza, fearless, heading through 130R. Huge run on the Genesis and has to get late on the brakes. Uh-oh! Clobbers Eric in her efforts to outbrake the Genesis Group 3. You could hear her jamming down through the gears. She knew right as she slammed the brakes that she had made a mistake. Yep, outbrakes the Genesis with ease. She needs to be doing about 20 miles an hour less here, though. In first gear, which she wasn't taking this corner in before. Killing the engine because the first gear ends at about 50 miles an hour for this vehicle, and she's at 60. Slap. Damaging both cars, and Eric has to pit for that, because of just how important it is to keep those Ferraris in working order for Scuderia. Leaving AJ to pick up the pieces and battle the now damaged 993 of Liza. And this is for the win now, as we're on the final lap. AJ has made a mockery of turn 1, but manages to keep the car on the racing surface. AJ's conservative through the S's though, and Liza smells some blood in the water. Too wide, heading towards the end of the S section. And Liza's gonna sneak ahead of the Group 3 in the S's, which I would imagine was like the best sector of the racetrack for these cars, because it's aero-dependent. AJ sells a dummy on Liza, but she's hardly phased. She gives the lane, but doesn't even need to because AJ was never there. Hit up to the hairpin one more time. The 993 with the better exit from said hairpin, but the Group 3 will have slipstream advantage heading towards the spoon curve. Plus just having way more horsepower in general. Even if the aero does slow it down in the straight line pretty massively, it's still going to have an acceleration advantage. Head out of spoon curve one more time. And I think AJ is going to be able to just out-drag the Porsche heading down the backstretch. With relative ease. He defends into 130R though. I don't think he wants to do that. Liza with the heroic send right at the 11th hour. And muscles AJ a little bit to get the position. And so a 680 class Porsche is going to barely snag this victory from the jaws of a 760 class Group 3. We haven't seen the Group 3s in a while, but they've certainly made a statement as they return here. AJ still does win the 760 category, even with Liza winning overall. And Liza's daughter Stephanie will win her category, 720 class, and claim top 3. Definitely a big defeat for Eric, who had control of the race going into the final lap, but it was ripped from him at the hands of a 993 who missed their braking point trying to outdo a Group 3 in the braking zone. Not her best decision making, I'm not gonna lie. Francesca managed to claw her way through a couple of the 680 class cars, but it's not enough. She's obviously nowhere near the sort of quartet of 720 class cars up here, and was defeated by two other 680 class cars that aren't a Porsche, Vegas and Tojo. Axel, while he couldn't keep Nico at bay forever, still wins his category. Noir and Morris just kind of ran around for 10 minutes. And that'll do it for episode 76 here in the Challenge Series. Quite a bit of chaos to go around, that's for sure. So, until 77, I suppose.